This video is for educational purposes only, or maybe not. Watch carefully because once you understand them, you won't look at people the same way again. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where a person makes someone doubt their own perception of reality. It often develops slowly through repeated denial of facts, twisting of events, or outright contradiction of things that were clearly said or done. Over time, the person on the receiving end begins to question their memory and judgment, which gives the manipulator more control in the situation. It is commonly seen in toxic relationships, but it can also appear in workplaces or family dynamics where one person holds more emotional or social power. Love bombing. Love bombing refers to an intense display of affection, attention, or admiration used at the beginning of a relationship to create emotional dependence. It usually feels overwhelming at first, with constant messages, excessive compliments, and fast emotional bonding. The purpose is not long-term connection, but rapid attachment, making the other person emotionally invested very quickly. Once that attachment is established, the intensity often drops, leaving the other person confused and more likely to tolerate unhealthy behavior just to regain the initial attention. Guilt tripping. Guilt tripping is a manipulation strategy where someone uses guilt as a tool to influence another person's decisions or actions. Instead of making a direct request, the person highlights disappointment, sacrifice, or emotional pain in a way that pressures compliance. This shifts the focus away from choice and onto emotional responsibility, making the other person feel obligated rather than willing. It is often used in close relationships where emotional connection can be leveraged to control behavior. Projection. Projection is a psychological defense mechanism where a person attributes their own thoughts, feelings, or behaviors to someone else. Instead of recognizing unwanted traits in themselves, they accuse others of having those same traits. This can distort conflict because the conversation shifts away from the actual issue and onto false accusations. In many cases, projection helps the person avoid accountability while creating confusion for the other party involved. Silent treatment. Silent treatment is a behavior where someone deliberately ignores or refuses to communicate with another person as a way of expressing anger or control. Unlike taking space to cool down, this form of silence is intentional and used as a pressure tactic. It creates uncertainty and emotional discomfort, often pushing the other person to apologize or comply. Over time, it can create anxiety and imbalance in the relationship because communication becomes conditional. Breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing is the act of giving small, inconsistent amounts of attention or affection to keep someone emotionally interested without any real intention of commitment. It often appears through occasional messages, vague plans, or minimal effort that never develops into something stable. This pattern keeps the other person hoping for more while never fully providing it. It is commonly seen in modern digital communication, where low-effort interactions are easy to maintain over long periods. Negging. Negging is a subtle form of manipulation where a person gives backhanded compliments or mild insults, disguised as jokes to lower someone's confidence. The intention is to create insecurity so the other person seeks approval from the one delivering the comments. It often appears in social or dating contexts where emotional leverage can be gained through self-doubt. While it may seem harmless on the surface, repeated exposure can gradually affect self-esteem and decision-making. Foot in the door technique. Foot in the door technique is a persuasion method where a small initial request is made to increase the likelihood of agreeing to a larger request later. It works because once someone agrees to something minor, they are psychologically more likely to stay consistent with that choice. This principle is often used in marketing, sales, and negotiation to gradually build commitment. Over time, the small agreements create a path toward much larger commitments that the person might not have accepted initially.